Muck has caused a lot of problems for item farmers eager to get their hands on a toxic orb. The orb used for catching Breloons, Gliscors, and many other reasons. Why this orb is so hard to get is because wild mucks get an ability called Sticky Hold, which prevents you from using Thief on them, so that way you can't steal the item. The other reason it is difficult is because wild mucks also can spawn with the move Fling, a move that throws the held item as an attack, which will cause their held item to be consumed and delete it from existence. So how do we go about stealing these toxic orbs from Muck? In the past, many players have used the strategy brought to us by the amazing PokeMMO content creator T-Nums, where you use a Togekiss with Imprison, as well as a Reactive Gas Wheezing to bypass that ability. However, I am here to show you a method that I created alongside my good friend and teammate Angry Gorilla that will help you farm these orbs around 2.5 times faster. Again, my name is Young Cabbage. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for weekly PokeMMO content, and let's get right into the method. So what we're going to need for this method is going to be a level 37 Dusknoir. The reason it needs to be level 37 is because we are going to be using the repel trick to isolate the muck encounters here in the water in Celadon City. Now, many of you may be wondering why I am hunting in Celadon City and not the Pokemon Mansion or the power plant here in Kanto. And the simple answer for that is because the surfing animation is actually slightly faster than the running animation, thus making you encounter more mucks in the set amount of time. Going back to the Dusknoir, the only things you need to worry about with Dusknoir are going to be the moves, the ability, and the EVs. For the moves, you're going to want the move Imprison, which blocks any moves known by the opponent and yourself from being used. So you want to teach it Imprison and then Fling to block Muck from using Fling and getting rid of the item. You want to make sure it has the ability Skill Swap, so that way whenever it does have the Sticky Hold ability, you can hit Skill Swap and trade it for Frisk, allowing you to steal the item. And then you'll need a move like Thief or Trick, so that way you can steal the item from the muck. The reason you need the hidden ability is so that way you can Frisk to check if the wild mucks are even holding an item, as all of the mucks are not guaranteed to spawn with one. And like I said, the only other thing you need to worry about is going to be the EVs. Now, because your Dusknoir is going to be a low level, it's going to be very slow. So what we want to do is give it maxed speed EVs, so that way it outspeeds the wild mucks, allowing you to use your attacks first and allowing you to flee the battle without fail. That is one big flaw that the T-Num strategy actually had, is sometimes your Wheezing would not be able to flee the battle, thus you would waste more time. And whenever you're on an item magnet charm, there is no time to waste. The next is going to be to max out the special defense EVs, so that way Dusknoir can do a better job tanking mucks to attacking moves, which are Sludge Wave and Sludge Bomb. And both of those are actually going to be special attacks, so you want to make sure that he is very specially defensive. Another thing that I will mention is that Muck does not only hold the Toxic Orb, it can also hold a Nugget or the Black Sludge. Both of these items are not nearly as expensive or sought after as the Toxic Orb, but if you thief the item off of the Muck and end up getting one of these other two items, simply just keep doing this method and you should be able to get one Toxic Orb every 45 minutes. So now that you guys know the build and the strategy, let's get into the actual encounter. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make sure that Dusknoir is at the front of our party and that he is level 37. We're going to then pop a repel, and we're just going to go back and forth until we encounter a wild muck. I did see on average I was getting around like 60 mucks, so keep in mind that this could take some time. The other reason that Celadon City is better than the power plant or the Pokemon Mansion for farming these mucks is actually because the wild birds can be found using this method, since this spot is outdoors. Now that you guys know what you need and where we are going to be hunting the muck, let's check out this video that Angry Gorilla provided me of him actually thieving the Toxic Orb off of one of these mucks. So what you're going to do is simply do encounters back and forth until you get the muck spawn. And you can see that the Dusknoir will frisk the item, so he's going to go ahead and hit Imprison. This will block the muck from using Fling, so muck will either use something like Screech, Sludge Wave, Sludge Bomb, stuff like that. After this, you're going to skill swap, so that way you remove Sticky Hold from the muck, allowing you to now thief the item. Muck will attack you again, but because Dusknoir is bulky, he'll be able to survive, allowing you to use Trick or Thief or any move that steals the item from the Muck, and you can see that he stole the Toxic Orb. After this, simply flee the battle and do more encounters. Now you may be thinking, okay Cabbage, this is a good method, but how do I know it's more efficient than the other strategy? Well, we actually created a spreadsheet compared to the stats that T-Nums gave us at the end of his video and put them against our own farming. Now, each attempt, keep in mind, represents 1 hour. And as you can see across the board, this Dusknoir strategy almost triples your Muck encounters. And the greater the number of Mucks, the greater the chance that one of them will be holding a Toxic Orb. If you wanted to speed up this process even further, you could grab one of these item magnet charms that increases the chance to find an item from wild encounters. I've done one of these hours with this encounter, and honestly, it did help quite a bit. Now, before we end this video, let me give you 3 pieces of advice that have helped me personally make this process more efficient. Firstly, make sure that after you steal an item, you go into your Pokemon's inventory and you remove it. This will place the item in your bag and allow you to steal another item. The second tip I'll give you is normally you actually don't need to use Skill Swap. The reason for this is because Muck actually can have one of 2 abilities, Stench and Sticky Hold. And from our combined 5 hours of searching, it seems like most of the Mucks actually have Stench. So if I were you, I would encounter the Muck, I would Imprison so that way you block Fling, and then I would simply use Trick. If the Muck does happen to have Sticky Hold, simply just click Skill Swap and then Trick to steal the item. But based off of our large sample size, I would recommend just skipping the Skill Swap turn if you can. And the last piece of advice is going to be having a Pokemon with Teleport or having a Teleport Ocarina. The reason for this is because it is very common that your Dusknoir will get poisoned or will take a good amount of damage. So what you do is you simply just teleport back to the Pokemon Center, heal up super quickly, and you are right back at the pond ready to get going. You hardly waste any repel steps, and you hardly waste any time. And there you have it. By following this method, you should be able to farm these Toxic Orbs roughly 2.5 times faster than we have been able to in the past. I hope that you all found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like on the video and let me know in the comments if you guys are going to give this method a try and start farming Toxic Orbs. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.